You're listening to the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
This is The Agenda with Georgia Tolley
On Dubai Eye 103.8.
We're going to turn our attention to cyber security now, because of course the big headline in the last sort of 48 hours or so has of course been that Dubai-based cryptocurrency exchange Bybit losing $1.5 billion worth of digital assets. Now, that's following a very sophisticated attack, or that's what they're calling it, by hackers. Tom Robinson, who is the co-founder and chief scientist of Elliptic, was speaking to CNBC about the magnitude of this digital theft.
I mean, it's by far the biggest crypto hack that we've ever seen. Number two was the Poly network hack in 2021, which was $611 million. And actually, most of that was returned by the hacker to the victim. So this really dwarfs anything we've ever seen before.
Now, coincidentally, a brand new report on the current state of cybersecurity in the UAE is being published today by the UAE Cybersecurity Council and also by the cybersecurity company CPX. We managed to get them to break their embargo, which is something that people introduce to sort of say when they're ready to announce their news. So I'm delighted to say that we are going to be discussing that topic now. And researchers found that there is an urgent need for stronger cyber defences, with over 220,000 IT devices hosted within the UAE potentially exposed to attacks. And half of these critical vulnerabilities are remaining unaddressed over 5 years. So certainly some ground to make up, and I'm very interested to find out more details on this report with Hadi Anwar. He is the CEO of the UAE-based cybersecurity company CPX. He's done me the honour of joining me in the studio. Good morning, Hadi. How are you?
Good morning, Georgia. Very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm very well indeed, and it's lovely to have you with us. What were your top findings in this report? Because it was quite detailed, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and that's the whole purpose of it. We give the UAE's ecosystem and the landscape and the threats. All about that is covered in this report. It's our flagship report, an annual report, which talks about the state of the UAE cybersecurity for last year. And it's quite astonishing where we stand today, given the exposure we have within the country. Talking about our key findings, we've learned that the 4 key industries which are targeted are the government sector, the energy sector, the financial sector, and the defense sector. And these are very targeted attacks. And in this report, we cover who's behind them, what are the groups behind them, what are the motives, and which country they come from as well. So it's quite interesting to see what is the motive behind all these attacks coming into UAE. Now, UAE leadership is at the forefront of digital transformation. We need to be the best of everything. That's what the country is all about. So talking about digital transformation and cybersecurity attacks then go hand in hand with that transformation at the country level.
It's really interesting to hear there that they're going for those key targets of, defence, security, infrastructure, energy. If I was a hacker, that's exactly what I'd go for. But it doesn't make you feel very sort of settled as a consumer or a resident. So what would you say are the key sort of challenges faced by the UAE? I want to ask you about who's most responsible for the target attacks in a second, but let's get a summary of those key cybersecurity challenges first.
Right. So some of the top key issues or challenges which we see and why these attacks take place is because of vulnerabilities which get exploited by the bad guys, the hackers, the adversaries, we call them in our language. And the key reasons are the misconfiguration is one of them, misconfiguration of infrastructure, and that probably takes place because of unskilled or lack of skills within different teams, improper usage and unlawful activity within the environment is also quite prominent. Phishing emails is remains one of the top threat vectors in terms of people clicking on links. And this goes back to building a security culture in the organization. We keep on harping about training and awareness, but it's not happening as much as should be. So building a security culture within an organization is everybody's responsibility, right? That's what we keep saying. Security is everybody's responsibility, not just IT folks, not just security folks, but every single person in an organization should be looking after cyber hygiene.
Yeah, you get this sense that every single person is a potential weak link because that's how the malware gets in. And, even with my limited knowledge of cybersecurity, just what I've picked up, frankly, from speaking to guys like you on the radio, I know that, each and every person can be, an open door to a hacker. Realistically. Okay, I mean, this report just sounds, there's so much data to get through. Where are these hackers coming from? Are they state-sponsored on occasion? That's quite a political question, isn't it?
So they are. Some of them are state-sponsored. They focus at the country, at the national assets level, attacking the critical infrastructure of the country. Then there are some hacktivists as well who do this for different financial gains. Then there are script kiddies, we call them, for fun purposes, right? They just
kiddies, is that what you call them?
They just go and test things out, different tools, because now everything's available so easily online that you can just download an attack and pen test tool and use that to attack an environment and test if it works or not. So these are just for fun purposes. People are doing this. Imagine that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's so disconcerting for organisations and structures. What concerns you the most, having done all this research and assessed the state of the cybersecurity in the UAE?
No matter how much technology we can deploy, how much investment in cybersecurity controls we deploy, it all comes down to human failure. And again, I keep on going back to the building a security culture. It's everybody's responsibility. We don't own it as much as we should. And it starts from our own self. Rather than telling it's a security guy's responsibility, it's not. It's really our responsibility, and we don't do that much of that. Today, I have 5 digital assets on me today. I've got 2 phones, a watch, a healthcare gadget on me, an AirPod, for example. So I've got 5. So the world is becoming so digitized. Our kids have iPads. They put their personal information all the time on these different websites. How are we protecting them? How are we training them to be cyber secure is something very important as well, right at home.
Okay, so best advice for best practice going forward. I mean, I guess it does come down to password protection.
Yes, it's
ultimately.
One of them. It's one of them. I mean, we had 240,000 complex passwords getting leaked. Imagine that. All those complexities, underscore and use a complex number or a digit or a character, all of that can get exposed these days very easily. Hence, we have something called multi-factor authentication. Link your password with a biometric or a pin on your phone. So you have multi-factor authentication deployed in place. Plus, knowing what are the crown jewels in the organization, you cannot protect every single thing. So you need to understand what are your crown jewels, and then you deploy your controls according to your risk assessment you do perform in your organization.
How do you think the UAE compares globally? Because I know that this report was done in partnership with the UAE Cybersecurity Council. So you had greater access than most organizations do. And you do have that international perspective as well. Are we more alert or less alert than other countries?
UAE is in the top 3 in the entire world, rated by the Cybersecurity Global Index, which means that we are way ahead than most of the countries in the world from a cybersecurity control deployment perspective, the awareness perspective. But you have to understand we also top rated from a digital transformation perspective. So the more quickly we deploy technology and we're ahead of that, the more the cyber risks also come and attack us, right? So it go hand in hand. We're up there in digital transformation, hence we're up there in controls as well. It goes together.
Yeah. It just means you have more assets to attack, I guess.
And protect.
And protect.
At the same time.
Oh my goodness me, I wouldn't have your job in a million years. It just sounds so stressful. Hadi Anwar there, CEO of the UAE-based cybersecurity company CPX. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Georgia.
Indeed, absolutely fascinating to hear about that report that the team from CPX have done in partnership with the UAE Cybersecurity Council. Thank you.